Over 5 decades, they've done an incredible job for parents and children in our community. I'd also like to salute Graham Hart, because this year is his 50th anniversary of being involved in the local Easter Seals campaign. Great job, Graham.
Well, we are here during family camp. You probably already recognize Sawyer because Sawyer is a celebrity in Peterborough. You've heard of Charlie's Angels. Well, she has Sawyer's Angels, and the thing is that you're always giving back to the community, you know, and helping out not just Sawyer but other kids as well. And I know that you're very, very active in the community.
We try our best to fundraise every year for people living with Angelman Syndrome, just to try to make their lives a little bit easier, and then also a little bit for Easter Seals to help all of the children in our local community as well.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about Angelman Syndrome.
Sawyer has a deletion type of Angelman Syndrome, which means she's missing part of her 15th chromosome, so her body doesn't produce a certain protein that makes that we need in order to do a lot of the things we take for granted every day, like sleeping and eating and mobility, all those kinds of independent living skills.
But she's still full of beans.
She is a ham, yeah.
Are you still full of beans?
Yeah, you are.
Then there's the much quieter Teddy here, the reserved gentleman. We're here for family time. What's it been like camping with your sister?
It's been really, really fun. And my favorite part about it was going fishing with all my friends.
Because you guys do so much for Sawyer during the year. What's it like being in a place right now where there's a lot more stuff that she can do independently?
When we usually go outside, you have to think of stairs or doorways and stuff, but here, everything is accessible by a path. We can go down to the water, enter into any building we want, so it makes it much easier for us.
And so, Sawyer, are you having fun? Are you having fun at camp? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at the gleam in her eye.
Everybody's fawning over Sawyer and Teddy. They're celebrities.
Well, I know. And so can you say something to the people out there who are watching the telethon about camp and how you need more support?
Yeah, so I was really nervous to come here, as Dan had mentioned, because you always have to think 5 or 10 steps ahead when you've got a child with complex needs. But coming here, it just kind of takes that weight off of your shoulders a little bit, and you settle in and you meet families and other kids and other siblings, and it just helps to have a fun experience that's a lot less stress. Yeah. And the staff here are so incredibly amazing. And I'm still trying to process all of the wonderful things about camp and how it is such a gem, but it really truly is a magical place. And I don't know why we haven't come sooner.
Well, it is really, and we've said this a couple of times here during the telethon, it definitely is a magical place. You need to help make the magic happen. So please give us a call. Please support Easter Seals.
I'm sitting here with Linda Albert, who I have known as a volunteer with Easter Seals Telethon for as long as I've been doing the Easter Seals Telethon. So we're talking 12 years now, and I think you're working up to maybe over 15 years of supporting Easter Seals.
Yes, I am.
So thank you for being here today. You are a workhorse of a volunteer. I know that about you. I can give you any task. I can ask you to do anything, and you do it well. But I also wanted to talk about the loyalty that you have to Easter Seals kids and families and the generosity behind it too, because I see your donations come through, and you corporately sponsor us, which is lovely on behalf of Trailers Plus, but you also make personal donations. So you're invested in us. So I wanted to thank you and ask you why. How did it all begin for Linda and getting involved with Easter Seals?
47 years ago, my cousin was born, and she had spina bifida. My aunt and uncle were able to use the Easter Seals camp as a way of having her taken care of while they could have a break. And so that was my first knowledge of it before actually becoming involved myself.
Yeah, I think that's part of the conversation that we forget to touch on, is we often talk about the perspective of camp from the child's role in it, and camp is fun and camp is life-changing, and we meet kids at camp and we get to do things and try things that we would have never had the courage to do or try before. But it also offers a period of respite for the parents where we get them to a place where they're comfortable and confident sending their child, regardless of what physical limitations they have or what medical requirements they have. Yeah. The parents get to a place where they know they can bring their child. It's a safe spot for them. they're taken care of and they come back, you know, refreshed and they've had their camp experience. But when you're making a donation to send a kid to camp, you're also making a donation to give that parent some quiet time and some downtime from the full-time job that it typically takes to take care of a child.
It is a full-time job with Kelly. She has 24/7 care, and for 47 years.
So I've seen you working behind the scenes, and I mentioned earlier you're a workhorse. You are. You have done a lot of tasks. You answer the phones, you run pledge forms, I've had you doing data entry, running credit card chits. So you see that Telethon isn't necessarily made of a whole bunch of giant donations. It's a whole bunch of whatever people can handle. $25 is what I say, is the Telethon does generate around $100,000 in the day, which is so exciting. But you see right behind the scenes, you're running the credit cards and the generosity of people in the region. Why do you think it's worth people to keep calling into the Telethon every year?
Again, they start as low as $5. So even your $5 is going to make a difference. Because add all those $5 together, or $10, they do make a big difference. And I think it's the families, when you see them, and I don't know them all personally because I am working behind the scenes most of the time. That's where I like to be. But when you see the families and how the kids all come together, even if they just pass each other in the hallway when they're coming to do the telethon, it just goes back to family. It just is so warm and welcoming, and everyone is there for each other. They're trying to help each other. So many people have different experiences. You think you're the only one that maybe is going through something, but then when you see the families together and they're all chatting and the kids are together, you realize that you're not alone. And the telethon does that. It makes that money to help the kids, whether they need the wheelchairs or whatever they need for their family to make it better. It's just a wonderful, warm place to be, and the telethon gets that money in.
It's true, it's what we do, and it's why we do it.
Yes.
And I appreciate your perspective. I think it's special to hear from the volunteers who are doing the work behind the scenes, that they're not just doing it because they feel like they have to, but they believe in what we're doing. And there's sort of a gift of being behind the scenes because you get to see those little special moments of the family sharing information and that sort of thing, and the kids being able to catch up since they haven't seen each other from camp and that sort of thing. So I really appreciate you volunteering every year, or maybe being voluntold, but I appreciate you keep saying yes and you keep coming back and you support us, like I said, corporately and personally, and you're amazing, and I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, my pleasure.